Honorable Elizabeth Horst, Mr. Serge Yunus, Mr. Kapil Sharma, distinguished participants, good morning. I thank the Atlantic Council for hosting this timely conference on resilience and reform in Pakistan and choosing the most appropriate themes to discuss solutions for elevating Pakistan's economy and polity to optimal levels. On this occasion, I pay tribute to Mr. Fred Kemp for his outstanding leadership of the Atlantic Council. His immense convening power is the envy of the town's thought leaders, and this was manifested by the enormously successful Distinguished Leadership Awards and Global Citizens Awards organized by the Council in Washington and New York this year. We are grateful to the Atlantic Council for supporting and leading the Pakistan Initiative that gives a voice to Pakistan in Washington, D.C., and is now becoming a clearinghouse for understanding Pakistan-United States relations. And thank you, Mr. Serge Yunus, for your important work and very able and astute stewardship of the initiative. Mr. Kapil Sharma, congratulations on your new position, and I also recall my conversations with you, which have been very interesting and very productive. My special thanks and tribute to Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary of State Elizabeth Horst for keeping the engines of U.S.-Pakistan relations running all the time. She's a force of nature and a force multiplier for our ties. Thank you so much. Now, let's look at the global picture first. Pakistan has a destiny. Our geography, our people, and our ideals determine that destiny. We have a mission to fulfill and the resolve to go the distance. The wars of the past 40 years, though necessary at that time for peace and security, have left their scars and distracted Pakistan from its chosen path of economic progress. The dark shadows of that period are receding. One of our tasks as a nation is to redress this ill-deserved reputational damage done to us and burnish our brand, not by words, but by actions. We have outlived many doom and gloom forecasts, and so would we this time. Our growth ran into headwinds, but this year we did not default, kept our economy afloat, and brought currency rates and inflation down. Remittances have increased, and from the United States last year, they remained stable at $3 billion, and foreign exchange reserves have improved. Pakistan has never defaulted on its debts, and we rode through the storms of floods and the pandemic earlier. This, I would call, is resilience. Pakistan's economic potential is much more than that of many countries of the world. According to the World Economic Forum, our economy should be the 20th largest by 2030. A World Bank study predicted that by 2047, Pakistan would climb to the 10th position. And as I speak, we are undertaking a raft of ambitious reforms to tap into Pakistan's unmined potential to reach these goals. Pakistan is undergoing multiple wrenching transitions. I won't call it a polycrisis. Name any state in the world that is not facing excruciating stress in our region or beyond. We are experiencing our share of pain as we evolve. Democracy is a choice that nations make. Pakistan has made that choice, and we have chosen the path of persistence, whatever the costs. Soon we will hold elections to start a new parliamentary cycle and move towards political stability. Pakistan is the fifth most populous country in the world of 230 million people. The median age is 22. Nearly 64% are below the age of 30. Its middle class has soared to more than 80 million, which is also bilingual, making it the fourth largest English-speaking nation. There are 190 million mobile telephone subscribers and 130 million broadband subscribers in Pakistan. Hundreds of thousands of tech professionals and entrepreneurs are joining the market every year. Pakistan has a promising demographic profile and a profitable consumer market. We have our own common market that extends to East, Central, and West Asia, as well as to the Middle East and North Africa. We have a strong and dynamic private sector, both formal and informal, now buoyed by the tech sector. Informal economy accounts for 75% of the jobs and 50% of our national income. Pakistan and the United States have put their relations on an even keel to build on their security ties and forge economic, technological, and cultural partnerships. We are thankful to the United States leadership for catalyzing this change. Several dialogues conducted in the past 1 year on trade, investment, energy, climate change, health, science and technology, defense, counterterrorism, and counter-narcotics have created an enabling environment. So I would say this is a good time for US businesses to increase their investments in Pakistan and Pakistani traders and entrepreneurs to enhance their exposure in the US markets. A question will be asked during this conference whether Pakistan is investable. My answer to that question is that Pakistan is already attracting foreign investment, and some of the new and additional investments are maturing right now. The first phase of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor concluded in 2019 with the completion of early harvest energy and infrastructure projects. The second phase that focuses on industrial development, special economic zones, agriculture, IT, vocational training, education, healthcare, and poverty alleviation is underway with estimated financing of $37 billion. We are on track. Canadian firm Barrick Gold has invested in Pakistan's Reko Diq copper gold mine, which has one of the largest world deposits with a capex cost of $7 billion. Barrick Gold and Saudi Wealth Fund, Public Investment Fund, are in talks for equity participation in this mine. Riyadh has announced to set up a $14 billion refinery project in Pakistan. UAE has concluded a deal for airport management. Other Gulf nations, including Qatar and Bahrain, have shown keen interest in high-value IT, agriculture, and airport terminal projects. The financial volume of these projects should increase to $44 billion in the decades to come. Other countries are investing in Pakistan. For instance, Nestle, Huawei, and Telenor are successful in Pakistan. So the real question is not, is Pakistan investable, but how its investments can be scaled up to make it a regional competitor and global economic player. The United States has a standing advantage because of American companies' experience in Pakistan spanning decades and their existing investment infrastructure in our country. The United States has consistently been one of Pakistan's largest sources of foreign direct investment. Over the past 3 years, United States enterprises have invested more than $1.5 billion in Pakistan. Both sides, United States and Pakistan, agree that this is not enough and this foreign direct investment needs to be increased towards Pakistan. What many people do not know is that over the decades, some 80 US companies, many of them Fortune 500, are running successful operations in Pakistan. In consumer goods, food chains, agribusiness, financial services, renewable energy, ICT, pharmaceuticals, and healthcare. These include Pepsi, Coca-Cola, General Electric, Abbott, Procter & Gamble, Pfizer, Philip Morris, Honeywell, Oracle, Amazon, Microsoft, Dell, IBM, Cargill, Caterpillar, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, and Domino's Pizza. None of them is moving out. This is resilience. The initiative of Pakistan-US Green Alliance, taken last year, is indeed groundbreaking. This enables Pakistan to promote renewable energy and make agriculture sustainable and productive. Methane abatement, electric vehicles, fertilizer efficiency, and healthy animal feed are priorities under its framework. The Green Alliance will help us enhance climate resilience and advance our goals to increase the share of clean energy in our energy mix to 60% from its present 34% by year 2030. The Green Alliance also builds mutual trust, projects the United States soft power, and provides an interlocking platform for other initiatives. We have opened new doors for foreign investment in Pakistan in 5 sectors: IT, energy, agriculture, mining, and defense production. In June this year, a special investment facilitation council was created to act as one window for foreign investors to facilitate speedy approval of projects, fast-track project development, and oversee implementation. The purpose is to spur economic growth, integrate our economy to international capital markets, and guarantee continuity of policies. New incentives are being given to investors. In the IT sector, these include income tax credit on exports, zero taxes on registered tech startups, tax holiday for venture capital funds, 100% repatriation of investments and dividends, and preferential commercial loans. In the energy sector, incentives include tax exemptions, concessions on plant and machinery import, 100% foreign ownership, force majeure, and change in law, tariff indexation, and more effective dispute settlement with a provision for arbitration under UNCITRAL rules. In the mining sector, we are offering 100% foreign equity, expatriate facilitation, export processing zones, inclusion in the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and repatriation of capital and profits. Foreign investors are also now allowed to own 60% agricultural projects and 100% corporate farming. Pakistan remains the 8th most vulnerable country to climate change, with its global greenhouse gas emissions less than 0.4%. The frequency and ferocity of floods, cyclones, glacial melt, heat waves, drought, and earthquakes require both domestic preparedness and resilience, as well as international support. The World Bank has estimated that Pakistan would need nearly $350 billion till 2030 for resilience alone. You would recall that Pakistan played a key role to convince last year's climate summit participants to create a loss and damage fund. But the G20 countries, the biggest emitters, are not fully prepared to either reduce emissions or bridge climate finance deficits. Climate justice is a far cry, but awareness has grown that it is not just countries like Pakistan, but the entire globe that is at risk. 3 courses of action are available to us. 1, refining our national adaptation plan by developing climate-smart agriculture and efficient water conservation. 2, the international financial institutions and the United Nations need to enhance direct financing to governments for alternate energy and climate-resilient agriculture. 3, leveraging the strengths of the private sector to deal with this challenge. Pakistan tech startups are seeing a dramatic rise. From a meager $10 million venture capital funding in 2018 per year, global VCs and other investors are pouring in $1 billion annually now. Total tech startup turnover in the last fiscal year was $3 billion. E-commerce in Pakistan earned about $6 billion. I'm not gloating over it. This is just the beginning. Pakistan is not far behind in the tech revolution that has taken off in Southeast Asia, Middle East, and North Africa. The gap is now closing. Pakistan is catching up. Digitization of economy, e-commerce, and improved supply chains are driving this change. Tech startups have been particularly successful in fintech, retail, pharmacy, diagnostics, telemedicine, education, groceries, and transportation. American VCs that are betting their money on Pakistan include Kleiner Perkins, Target Global, Tiger Global, Dragoneer, Accrue, Sequoia Capital. Add to that UK's Kingsway, Speedwest from Europe, UAE's Sharook, and China Accelerator and Fatima Gobi from China, investing in pre-seed, seed, and early-stage startups in Pakistan. This trend would continue. To reach the next stage, our markets have to ensure continuity of current flows, move towards startups that are less capital intensive, and diversify our targeted markets by going beyond Pakistan to Central and West Asia, Middle East, and North Africa. This is a natural business ecosystem for Pakistan. A two-way trend has already started. Pakistan startups are doing business in the Gulf region, and companies based in Saudi Arabia and UAE are marketing their products in Pakistan. Artificial intelligence and other new technologies, blockchain, robotics, 3D printing, synthetic biology are the next wave of technology. They will be as disruptive as previous technological breakthroughs. To prepare for this change, our universities have introduced these disciplines with supporting incubation centers for innovation. Above all, I would say, and some of the representatives of our diaspora community are here, we are proud of their achievements and we are proud of their contribution to Pakistan-US relations. Our 1 million strong diaspora community has become a sturdy bridge between Pakistan and the United States and a key stakeholder in Pakistan's economy with their growing investments in healthcare, education, hospitality, financial services, real estate, and social development. We are grateful to them, and they're doing a wonderful job. Ladies and gentlemen, we are vigorously pursuing institutional reforms on the above agenda that I have outlined. Our minimum goals right now are macroeconomic stability and social development, fiscal discipline, absorption of external shocks, and improvement in business climate. In addition, with the help of the World Bank, we are streamlining our current narrow, distortive, and unequal tax system to make it broad-based and equitable in order to finance human development, infrastructure development, and climate resilience. And overarching reforms being undertaken aim to unlock ease of doing business, enforce intellectual property rights, ensure stable payment cycles, and accelerate capital formation. We will stay the course. And finally, my message to the conference participants is that we will benefit from your wise and informed counsel for a resilient Pakistan, preparing for stellar economic growth to attain human security for its people and shared prosperity in our extended neighborhood. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Ambassador Khan, thank you so much for sharing your insights and perspectives. I enjoyed listening about the resilience of the Pakistani economy and its people, and I do appreciate your focus on climate change and climate financing. But as I said before in my introductory remarks, we are at an inflection point for Pakistan, and we should try to turn a lot of these aspirations that you had outlined in your remarks into results. We believe here at the South Asia Center that if we can, we will make the region the second largest regional economy by 2047. I would now like to invite our second keynote speaker, Elizabeth Horst. Ms. Horst is the Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary and Deputy Assistant Secretary responsible for Pakistan, has been playing a key role in shaping and executing the United States' foreign relations with Pakistan in recent years. Undoubtedly, she's had her plate full in the recent weeks, and we are excited, first of all, that she is here, and to hear her thoughts on the state of the U.S.-Pakistan relationship, key priorities in the coming weeks and months, and her outlook for Pakistan and its political economy in 2024 and beyond. And with that, please welcome PDAS Elizabeth Horst.
Cap, thank you so much for your warm words and the opportunity to be here today. Let me also heap on the praise for Uzair Yunus. Where did you go, Uzair? There you are, right there, sorry. Really appreciate the drive and the partnership that you've brought to this, to having this event here at the Atlantic Council. Let me also thank my partner in the podium, Ambassador Masood Khan. Ambassador Khan and I frequently share the podium, and I think we make a great pair talking about the potential of the U.S.-Pakistan relationship. So I'm always grateful when we have the opportunity to reinforce each other's remarks. This is, I think, the fourth or fifth time that we've ended up being a duo on stage. So let me start with a little bit of a story. In March, I was in Lahore, and I attended a reception at our consulate for International Women's Day. And we had alumni and entrepreneurs from across Punjab, and they blew me away. Several had returned to Pakistan after successful careers as scientists and engineers in Seattle, Atlanta, and Australia, and they had decided they wanted to come home and build something in Lahore. And another entrepreneur boldly told me that she wanted her brand to be bigger than Louis Vuitton in the next 10 years, and that is a seriously ambitious goal. This same young entrepreneur schooled me on why I was so old-fashioned to carry business cards and the fact that my LinkedIn profile was a vacation pic. And she said, shouldn't you look a little more professional? It's a good reminder that the next generation has some thoughts. Another woman had started a business that connected beauty services to busy professionals. She called it Uber for Beauty, and it was operating in several Pakistani cities. And I give this example because their energy and enthusiasm was so palpable. And then the next day I went to a university and I visited an electric vehicle development workshop where a group of young entrepreneurs and innovators were coming up with a market-ready electric vehicle that would reduce air pollution, cost less, and was entirely a Pakistani solution. So that's what I think of when I think of the future of U.S.-Pakistan relations. Smart, talented entrepreneurs on both sides solving problems for a better tomorrow and building bridges between our countries. Now, as we've noted, the theme of today's conference is resilience and reform, and by focusing on these two topics, the organizers have smartly gotten us away from the old topics and old patterns of thinking about the U.S.-Pakistan relationship. I see us very much turning a page in the U.S.-Pakistan relationship. It's a relationship that stands on its own dehyphenated. It's a relationship with a positive agenda. Now, I'm not suggesting that I'm naive, that we don't have some friction points between the United States and Pakistan. I'm not going to address those here. I'm going to focus on the positive agenda and on resilience and reform, and particularly on where the United States supports resilience and reform, where we see barriers, and what it means for our two countries and for regional stability when we can overcome these barriers. I see challenges, opportunities, and I have 5 suggestions for meaningful reform in keeping with the spirit of what Cap said, making these actionable items. But first, a moment on the unparalleled economic challenges right now in this moment. I think the Pakistani people have demonstrated tremendous resilience in the face of historic inflation, unprecedented energy prices, massive flooding, COVID. And we applaud that against this background, Pakistan has had efforts to meet the conditions of the International Monetary Fund's standby agreement so that there can be more stability looking forward. From out of these challenges come tremendous opportunities, however. And the United States supports all of the structural reforms that Ambassador Khan has mentioned and some of the others that I will, because we think this is going to put Pakistan on a course for sustainable, long-term economic growth that will support this young and ambitious population. And we do this not out of generosity. We do this because it's good business, and we think it's good for the U.S.-Pakistan relationship. I want to mention that the United States is Pakistan's biggest customer and single biggest trading partner as a country. $6.3 billion of exports came to the United States from Pakistan. That is 20% of Pakistan's exports. And no one else is even close to this. But we could be doing so much more, and I hear this all the time. And so that is what drives our thinking. That is what drives some of the comments that I'm going to make. How can we take this relationship and elevate it? Because we know that trade on both sides and fostering economic growth and entrepreneurs on both sides has global implications. We recently had some Pakistani business leaders visiting Washington, and while they were clear-eyed about the challenges ahead, they were also pointing to signs of economic resilience. Some noted very, very strong profits in their last quarter, and a readiness for reform that they said they hadn't seen for a while. And when the private sector is ready for change, including broadening the tax base, agricultural reform, and energy sector reform, we know that change could be really possible. And the business executive also said that the economic crisis was fostering innovation. Businesses knew that they couldn't rely on external partners to bail them out, and they were taking a hard look at their practices and changing them to their supply chains with surprising results. In one case, an agricultural executive said that his company had switched to domestic sources and ingredients to simplify the supply chains, and now they were exporting dairy products, including to the United States. That's the kind of change that I hope will come out of this particular conference. Ambassador Khan was kind enough to mention the Green Alliance, and I want to make sure I do that too, because there's really no initiative that better exemplifies where we are right now than the U.S.-Pakistan Green Alliance. And we focus on 3 game-changing sectors: agriculture, clean energy, and water. And this is going to build on our rich history of working together, starting in the Green Revolution in the 1960s, but meeting the global challenges of today, including climate change and growing young populations that want to see a future of hope and innovation. So now, moving forward on some ideas for where we can really look at reform and the things that I would like to see happen to make sure that the U.S.-Pakistan relationship continues to grow. 5 ideas. Not all of these are mine. A lot of these you will have heard in other places, but I think they bear repeating because sometimes the least sexy ideas are the ones that are going to have the bigger impact. The first one is just simply to treat current investors well by allowing foreign companies to repatriate profits from their operation, by allowing foreign companies to operate, import, and export. That is the thing we hear most frequently. The companies that are there want to see more investment, and they want to see other companies come. Make sure we treat them well. I'm excited to see what the Special Investment Facilitation Council might do to increase the simplification of investment and how that might help U.S. companies look at Pakistan in a new light. The second reform is expanding the tax base. Only 8 million Pakistanis are registered for personal income taxes out of a population of 230 million. And Ambassador Khan gave examples of how many people are connected through the internet, through cell phones, there is a way that their tax base can be expanded, not on the base of the taxpayers who are already paying a lot, but others. It could potentially increase revenue from 10.5% to GDP up to 18% of GDP over long term. And this kind of revenue allows the government of Pakistan to reinvest. And that tax reform is going to be broad-based, efficient, progressive, and equitable. I'm positive about this. Every time I talk to a Pakistani business owner and I say, what about tax reform? They say, I'm for it. I want to make sure it's equitable and not just my business. Number 3 is agricultural reform. And this is not theoretical, because currently Pakistan's wheat yields are underperforming. And that means it's threatening food security, not just for Pakistani families, but around the region. Climate change continues to threaten Pakistan's economy and food security. But if we can get some real and meaningful agricultural reform, including getting rid of inefficient subsidies, investment in climate-smart agriculture technologies, and support for small farmers, we'll see a real, tangible difference. And this is one area where the Green Alliance is trying to deliver for both U.S. businesses and Pakistani farmers, also through our Climate and Environment Working Group. The Fertilizer Right program brought $4.5 million in investments to help Pakistani farmers use fertilizers efficiently, lowering costs and reducing pollution. Again, tying together all of the things that we know matter to the next generation of Pakistanis and matter to the climate crisis that we have right now. We have a sister state program between Punjab and California, and so the University of California, Davis, and the University of Faisalabad are collaborating on research on improved wheat production, another very tangible and specific cooperation that is going to make a difference on Pakistani tables. The third is not a surprise either, energy sector reform. This has been something that I've been talking about as long as I've been working on Pakistan. And this is the thing that's going to make an incredible difference. As demand for energy goes up, Pakistan needs to meet the moment with new technologies, not coal, but new technologies that will help leap over and provide enough electricity that is clean that can drive Pakistan's economic growth. Getting rid of the energy subsidies that are up to 3% of GDP, better revenue collection, circular debt that's dragging down the economy. All of these things hurt the Pakistani people in their pocketbooks. But there's ways out of this, and energy reform includes, as I've mentioned, expanding renewables. So the Green Alliance framework, as well as our energy security dialogue, are delivering some solutions, including our renovation of the Mangla and Tarbala dams. That's going to provide electricity to 47 million Pakistanis, and helping improve the reach of solar. That will help more than a third of Pakistani households as well. The fifth suggestion I have is also something that's not new, but is an untapped resource, and that's thinking of women as an economic driver. They're foundational to inclusive and sustainable prosperity, but they need to also have access to loans, to education, to easier regulations. When I heard from these entrepreneur women when I was in Pakistan, they talked about how hard it was to get credit or to qualify for business loans. Sometimes they had to sell jewelry or family things in order to start their business. Finding a way to make that easier is going to tap a part of the Pakistani economy that we all know is so incredibly strong, innovative, and dynamic. The United States has long invested in our U.S.-Pakistan Women's Council, and one of the ways we're doing that is through education. And I know I see some nodding here, and some of you have been longtime partners and champions of the U.S.-Pakistan Women's Council. We're trying to help women entrepreneurs on both sides work on STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and math for Pakistani women. We're also working on Tech Women, which is an exchange and mentorship program that supports the next generation of women STEM leaders. And 2 extraordinary women from Pakistan recently completed fellowships at Salesforce and Adobe. And as President Biden has said, the future is going to be won by the countries that unleash the full potential of their people. So when Pakistani women and girls are fully empowered and connected to the global economy, there's going to be no stopping Pakistan. I want to close with one word on democracy, because I think that a healthy democracy is the foundation to sustainable and inclusive prosperity. And a government that reflects the will of its people will bring stability and attract international investment. So support for democratic principles, an independent judiciary, freedom of expression, press freedoms, and rule of law are all absolutely essential. We support Pakistan and its democratic process. In conclusion, let me just say that when the Pakistani people drive reforms to invest in their own prosperity and resilience, the rest of the world will follow. I know we have U.S. businesses that are looking in Pakistan and wondering, is this the right place for me? We want that answer to be yes. We want to see the trade grow. And we know that the Pakistani-U.S. relationship can deliver results for both our people. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I look forward to hearing the results of the 2 days of conferences and see what we can do that is tangible, real, and benefits both sides. Thank you.